I remember being a little kid, and every now and then you run into a girl who hangs out with the boys. Yeah, everybody was just okay. When I was growing up, the girl was well, I better not say her name because I don't want to embarrass her. Yeah, but let's just say her name rhymes with Juanita. No, that's not her name. Okay, that's not her name, but it rhymes with that. And yeah, she's about a little bit younger than me. And one of my cousins, um, I'm related to this one guy through my mother and his father. Okay, his father and my mother are cousins. But his mother and um, how does that go? His mother was related to this girl, yeah, this tomboy, I guess we can call her. And so that's how we all knew each other. Anyway, when we first met her, you know how that is when you're a little kid, yeah, you meet a new kid, and you wonder what's going on. Yeah, like we would play scrimmage football, and for us, that was something different than what is really scrimmage football. Yeah, for us, scrimmage football was okay. Somebody throws the football up high in the air, and whoever catches it has to run with it until they get tackled. And then after they get tackled, then that person throws the ball up in the air, and then everybody runs after him next. That was scrimmage for us. Now, a real football scrimmage is something different. Okay, it's two teams. I mean, it's two groups of people from the same team that are playing against each other like a practice. Okay, that's a scrimmage. But the res scrimmage was just throw the ball up in the air, and so whoever catches it runs, and everybody goes and tackles him. And then when he gets tackled, he throws it up, and so on and so on. Our way was much more fun. And so we were going to play some scrimmage football our way. I'll say res scrimmage. And my cousin was saying, yeah, he said they said, yeah, we'll play at his place. And he got a brand new football. He says, hey, okay, let's go break it in. So we went over there, and there's a girl standing there. So we're like, huh? And he said, hey, don't worry, guys. He said, she's just like a guy, he said. So we're like, okay, but she looks like a girl. Oh, 10 years old, yeah. But she's a girl. So, so I said, no. He said, really? He said, you can tackle her like a guy. She said, she's tough. And he kept saying that. And we were like, oh, I don't know. And I said, watch. He said, she's going to tackle you hard. He said, she plays like a guy. He said. So we were like, okay, well, here we go. So somebody threw the ball up in the air. So she caught it. She started running. Nobody wanted to chase her. Yeah. So she turned around and she said, "What's wrong with you guys? Are you guys all chicken or something?" So, oh, le. Now that's the battle cry there. Yeah. How dare you call me a chicken? That was the extent of our cuss words back then. Yeah. So we went after her. Yeah. Well, first, our cousin went after her. He went after her, and she was running really fast, and he's had trouble getting her. So he's like, "Well, should we just tackle her then?" So they say, "Yeah, okay." So we jumped in there and we joined the race. Yeah, and one I don't know who it was. One guy caught up to her, and boy, he just laid into her. Yeah, just knocked her to the ground, and we were all expecting her to get up and cry, and and here she stood up and she threw the ball up in the air. She was totally okay. And we were like, whoa, this is a different kind of girl. And when she tackled, it hurt, yeah, because she was really skinny and bony, yeah. So one time I caught the ball, and oh man, she just laid right into me, you know, threw me through the to the ground, and I lost my breath, and uh, oh gee, she hit me hard, yeah. And then I thought, okay, she's one of the guys. So we all played like she was a guy. Yeah, and after that, there was nobody was uncomfortable. She was like the guys. Yeah, after we saw her play. Hell, she played better than some of the guys. She was faster. Yeah, she could jump high and things like that. And she could hit hard. That was very interesting. First time I saw a girl like that. Yeah, man, she was a good athlete. And that's how she was all her life. She's one of the best athletes on our reservation. Yeah, when she got older, she was in girls basketball, and she went on to university, and she was on the university basketball team and volleyball, and she played softball and during baseball during the summertime. And this girl was an athlete and a half. Yeah, one of the best athletes on Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation, and I'm proud to know her. Yeah, she's a nice person. She's a nice person, and um, but I always remember that. That's the first time I met her. Yeah, playing football with her. She's one hell of a athlete. That's that's very impressive, and I'm sure you guys know people like that too. Yeah, where this girl can just do anything. Yeah, I mean, this girl, like I said, she any sport. It don't matter what sport it was. She was damn good. Yeah, baseball, basketball, football, volleyball. Wow. And for the boys basketball team, she was a cheerleader. She's on both sides. Yeah. Oh man, it's quite a young lady there. And but that's the first time I saw that. Hey, that's cool. See, some girls can do these things, and some girls can do other things. Yeah. And then we saw the opposite too. Yeah. We saw there was a guy in our crowd, in our neighborhood, I should say. This guy just did nothing but play with girls. He even laughed like a girl. Yeah. This guy's just feminine as hell. Yeah. And and he's always walking around with the girls, and back then we never saw gay people. Yeah, because I will explain in a few minutes that in ancient Lakota society, people like that are considered very special in a good way. They're highly esteemed, and that's normal. It's considered a normal segment of society because in Lakota ancient way, uh, the universe teaches that there's three components to everything, and that these three, I should say, there's at least three. Sometimes, in some situations, there's more than three, but there's always going to be at least three. Okay, and they don't oppose each other. They're just different. That's all. There's nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Yeah, this is something I've been mentioning very strongly the past 2 days too. That's the ancient way. So we did not have this which one is better. Because as soon as you start thinking like that, then you start to develop this us against them concept. We're smarter than them. We're better than those guys, and our way is the best way, and then this is going to end up creating, ethnocentrism, racism. Uh, what's the other two? Uh, Paternalism and dogma. Yeah, and and these are this in this way everything is seen in only two parts, but the universe says no, there's three. So when you have three or more, there's no tendency to say which one is better. Yeah, but in the modern way, it's just two, and so this is why people have that tendency to say, okay, of these two parts, which is the good one, or which is better, and that's going to be the good one, and the other one will be the bad one. Yeah, and that's duality. That's something I'll explain earlier, but in our ancestors, it was at least three or more perspectives to everything. Then, in the early days of the reservation, I'll explain this in more detail later, but in the early days of the reservation, things changed. And uh, the result was we lost one of those perspectives, and now today we only see two, and we're dualistic now too. We say also, you know, our way's better, and the white people are bad. You see what I mean? And so the racism is there now, the reservation, the paternalism, we're that way now. And we're dogmatic. Yeah, we say our way is the best way. It's the same thing the churches are saying. Um, and ethnocentric, yes, it, and then we're racist. Yeah, we have the same four problems now today too. Okay, so um, so today the tendency is to say, okay, since there's only two ways, two sides, and if something doesn't fit that, then that's wrong. See, that's the modern way. Because the modern way chooses only to see two aspects, and if something doesn't fit either one, then there's something wrong with it. Maybe it's a mental illness. So on the reservation now, people make fun of gay people. They put them down, just like everywhere else in this Western world. Yeah. So I see that on Facebook a lot. These young Lakota guys in their 30s and 40s, like they were calling Donald Trump a gay guy. That shows you that they see gay people in a bad light, and our ancestors were not that way at all. But yet these young Lakota people think they're all Indian. Yeah, but being Indian means being accepting. And when you put down somebody because of their sexual identity, their skin color, their race, their language, their beliefs, then this is not thinking from the ancient way. This is closed-mindedness, and that's how it is on the rest. Yeah, that so that's why when I was growing up, we never saw other kind of people. You just see men and women. Yeah, and sometimes when something doesn't fit, our parents will say there's something wrong with that guy or that woman. Yeah, they have a mental illness. That's why they're doing that. They're crazy. See, that's because we lost that third perspective. So gay people are seen in a bad light, generally speaking. Okay, now not all Indians are this way. I'm saying generally speaking, most Indians are this way today. very judgmental. I explained that yesterday. Yeah. So when you have that, when you only choose to see two components to reality, you're rejecting one already because the universe says there's three. So when you're at least three, I should say, the universe says there's at least three. So when you're only choosing to accept two, you're denying the third piece. Then from those two pieces that you acknowledge, you reject one of them. So you only accept one piece in the end. So of three pieces, you only accept one. That means you only accept 33% of reality, which means you don't see the full, total view of reality. And that makes you close minded. So anything that does not fit your way of thinking, you call it wrong. You call it evil and bad. It's not good. That's how it is on the res today too. I will explain how it happened, okay? Um, in a few minutes. But because of this transformation on the reservations all across America and Canada, people like this are seen in a bad light. And I think if our ancestors saw us today, they would be sad because it shows that we're losing our identity now. Heck, most of us can't even speak our own language. Yeah, that's really a not a good sign. So it was strange, yeah, to see. I mean, because of this way on the reservation, it was strange to see a girl who could do the things the guy could do, and it was strange to see a guy who preferred doing the things the girls do. But when that person was our relative, we accepted it. But when it was not our relative, we would say, "Gee, the person has a mental illness. Look at that." Yeah, it's like we say one thing on one hand, but on the other hand, we're saying the opposite. So who's the crazy one here? Do you see what I mean? So, excuse me. So that's how it is. Yeah. So like I said, it was strange, to meet this girl who could do everything like a guy, and then we had a cousin who, this guy just preferred to hang around girls. And today they're both adults, yeah, and neither one is gay. It's just the way they are. But neither one is gay. The 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 girl, she grew up, got married, has had four kids. Yeah, she's leading our tribe. I mean, she's one of the leaders of our tribe. University educated, and she's also a dancer, Indian dancer, jingle dress. Yeah. So, but she's not lesbian. She's just this way. Yeah. She's always been with men. Just, she's not gay. She's not a lesbian. Got the guy the same way. He grew up, uh, got married, had several children, and he passed on a couple years ago. But he lived a good life. Yeah, he was a father to the. He was a good father. He had a good woman. So even though as a child he was doing many feminine things, he still grew up to be married. Yeah, he was not gay. He was happily married. He had children. He was proud father. But neither one was gay. So just because somebody acts like that, it does not mean they're going to be gay. Sometimes it does, but not all the time. Yeah. So that was my first inkling into wow, sometimes it's that way. So yeah, so sometimes guys are more feminine and sometimes girls are more masculine, and they're just good at what they do. That's why I said 2 days ago in ancient society, we had women's warrior societies. Yeah, and we had men who were really good at doing things that normally most women would do, but he was good at it. So that's what he did. And nobody made fun of him because he was good at it. Yeah, that's his talent. And it does not mean he is gay. Just like the women warriors. They were good at that, so, but it did not mean they were lesbian. It just means that that's what they were good at. Because for us in our ancient reality, there's always at least three perspectives. At least. Most of the time, it's more than three. Yeah, but we lost that way of thinking, and when the reservation period started, and now we think like everybody else. We just see things in two. Yeah, this and that, and then we have the tendency to put them against each other and give them the labels of good and bad. Then we become judgmental. Even though we only accept 33% of reality, as I explained earlier, we still think we know everything and that we know more than others, especially those who don't agree with us. And we have the nerve to call them stupid. That is stupid itself, yeah, that way of thinking and living and believing. So, um, when we did see a gay person, usually, they really kept to themselves, and uh, we'd see our older relatives make fun of them. And most of my relatives made fun of people like this too. But I never saw it like that. When I saw a gay guy on the reservation, a gay couple, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. But I never felt it was a bad thing. Yeah, I never felt it was a bad thing. I felt that oh, it's different. And then later in life, when I started being taught by holy people, I started to learn that in the ancient days, that was part of society. That was a normal part of society. But that today, we're very close minded and we don't accept people like that today. Which is really sad and unfortunate. So when a young native person makes fun of somebody by calling them a gay guy, that person is not living the ancient way. Simple as that. When a young native, uh, verbally assaults another person by calling them gay, that's a sign that that person does not know his own culture. So, unfortunately, most people are that way today. Yeah. But anyway, I was different. I wasn't that way. So, I just didn't understand it, but I never thought it was bad. I didn't understand it because I never knew about this before. Yeah, I didn't know about it. But what I did know is that I should not pass judgment on something that I have no knowledge about. That much I knew. That's why I never said anything until later I learned, yeah, that in ancient Lakota society, this is normal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, I just thought I would say that, and now I will explain some information, and part of this explanation will include how we lost our ancient perspective and how today we think like everybody else in this modern Western world. Even though we say yes, we are Lakota, we are Native, we are Apache, and we are strong in this, and as soon as they see a gay person, they start making fun of them. Yeah, and this is not right. So one more time, when you see a young, and it doesn't even have to be young, could be old too. I'll say it like this: when you see a native person making fun of gay people, that native person does not know his own culture. That person does not know his or her own culture, and most of the time, these people can't even speak their own language. So my argument is this: if you cannot speak your language, if you are native and you cannot speak your native tongue, then don't identify yourself as native because you don't speak the language. You have the DNA, yeah? You have the DNA, but you don't have the language. The language carries a perspective. I wrote about this on my timeline one time, and here's some old lady who says she's native, and I don't think she's native, but she said she was really offended at what I said, and she said being Indian is a state of mind. She said, and I said, bullshit. Being Indian includes speaking your language, and there's no excuse today. The days for blaming the white man and the churches, those days are gone. Now there's opportunity everywhere. It's up to you to motivate yourself and dedicate your life to learning the language of your ancestors for the benefit of your descendants. And when you choose to not do that, you are robbing from your descendants what rightfully belongs to them. And that goes against the native way. So, no, I would not consider you native if you cannot speak your language. Strict, but that's the way it is. Yeah, that's the way it is. So, we'll continue here. Let me take a little music drink though, and then I will explain this information in better detail. Then after that, we'll switch gears and we'll see what we talk about tonight. Last night, Cherie and I were talking about languages. Speaking of languages, we were talking about languages, and I remember in the year 2011, 2011, I was flying to see my good friend Pam, who lives in London. Pam is a Scottish lassie. She's a real redhead, yeah. Believe me. She's a really good friend of mine, and and I used to go fly over there and see her, and we just have fun around the city of London and eat at restaurants and things like that. Just have fun, have a good laugh. She has a really good sense of humor. It's one of my best friends. Yeah, and anyway, so I was at the airport. I was gonna fly back to Berlin now, and it was Sunday. Yeah, and I was returning to Berlin, and I was waiting for my flight, and in the gate next to us was well, in the gate next to me, I was flying alone. In the gate next to me was um, a flight to Paris. So they're all speaking French. Yeah. And I thought, wow, that's a really nice language. It really sounds nice. I mean, sometimes it sounds a little bit pompous, but and a little bit arrogant, but overall, it's a really beautiful sounding language. Yeah, and then more Germans started to show up in my gate, yeah, because they're flying to Berlin. So now I'm hearing more German language, and I comparing the two, and I'm saying, geez, French sounds so much pleasing to the ear than German does. So I was, this was the year 2011, so I was thinking, man, I think that would be so cool, yeah, to to be able to speak that language. That's 2011, yeah, and and um, and now that's the language I'm learning. It's funny how things turn out, yeah. It's funny how things turn out. Uh, I started learning French in last summer, 2016. So 5 years after I saw that, 5 years later, I am learning that language, and it's interesting how life is sometimes. Yeah, that you never know what's going to happen. I mean, even in the year 2000, yeah, in the year 2000, I was uh, um, began my career as a Lakota language teacher. Actually, it was 1999, January 1999. I began my career as a Lakota language teacher, and never did I think I would be living in Germany. I never thought that ever would happen. And here I am. Yeah. And then 2011, I hear the people waiting for this flight going to Paris, and they're all speaking French. And I think, whoa, that's such a beautiful language. Man, I wish I could learn that someday. And now here it is, 5 years later. I'm learning French. So be careful what you wish for. Anyway, Sharia and I were in this discussion, and then I was saying, when you look at the different German dialects, the one is really beautiful, in my opinion. There's one that's really it sounds really beautiful to my ears, and that's the Swiss German. Yeah, to me, Swiss German really sounds sweet, and they have they say the gutturals like Lakota gutturals more than Germans do. Yeah, so it's to me it's very pleasing to my ear. Here's a small example of Swiss German.